Hello and welcome to Design Thinking. I am Ms. Coker, and today I'm going to be introducing our first level of technology and engineering education. This first level course is designed to engage students in project-based learning as they explore the technological world. Students will be introduced to concepts related to design, technology, and engineering, and presented with real-world problems that they have to solve utilizing the design process, which is an iterative series of steps that aid engineers and designers in developing solutions to problems. Students will work hands-on during these challenges to develop solutions, utilizing the design process. That's going to look a little different this year. Normally, our classroom is very accessible to our students, and the materials and the resources that they're able to utilize at any given time during a project. Because of the restrictions due to COVID-19, there's going to be a lot more structure to the projects that we will be doing this year, but we will definitely make sure that all students have an authentic experience this year, whether or not they are in the classroom or not. So our virtual students that are the D cohort will be, or should have already received, an engineering kit with basic materials that they can utilize in the developing of mock-ups of their solutions. And the other aspect of this course is going to be designing, which means that they're going to be utilizing either web applications to design solutions on the computer, or they're going to be utilizing Citrix, which is an app store on your students' Chromebooks. They can access it also through a browser that has access to all of our softwares that we'll be utilizing this year. So let's look at the units of instructions that your students will be guided through this year. The first unit is safety and design processes. Students will learn how to operate available tools and equipment in the classroom. This is going to look a little different this year. Normally, we have guided practice in the sense that students rotate through stations where they utilize each piece of equipment. That's going to be done a little bit differently this year because of COVID-19, but they will still be able to utilize the equipment just in a different way. Your students at home, D cohort, we currently have a piece of equipment that I'll discuss a little bit later called the Glowforge. This is a CO2 laser cutter that allows them to design at home and actually print from home to our printer here in class. So they will also be able to utilize that technology. Students will also explore the design processes and apply them in innovating and documenting solutions. Currently, your students are learning about the design processes and how they are utilized to optimize solutions. And we're also going to be investigating fields of technology, engineering, and design through problem solving. Students really get to work hands-on and see what it's like to be in one of these STEM fields and think like an engineer and think like a designer. The second unit of instruction is technology and society, where students start to think about how technology has evolved over time, why it's evolved, right, to meet our human needs and wants, the impact that technology has had on society, and our responsibility regarding technologies and their advancements, right? How we analyze technology is really important. Up in the right-hand corner, what you'll see is a matrix of consequences, how we analyze technology based off of the bonuses that it provides, what needs it makes or meets, the risks and the threats to the technologies that we use, and determining whether or not the technology is a solution that helps us or a solution that just creates more problems. In the next unit of instruction, communication and information systems, students start to explore the 5 major purposes of communication, the different types of communication, methods of communication, and the communication model. We also explore information systems and start to develop our own applications. So students they do sketches and drawings of a application that solves a real world problem, and then they actually code that application utilizing an online web app. Our students last year came up with some really awesome solutions, even entered a few competitions, the District's Invention Convention, and other state competitions. In years prior, students have won awards for Sustainable South Jersey for developing fully functional apps that solve problems. The next unit of instruction is biorelated technology. In this unit, students learn how to analyze human health and safety related to environmental factors. We look at agriculture and aquaculture, and we look at the technologies that are shaping those sectors. We look at genetic modification, management of environmental resources, and also sustainability through biomimicry, which is the mimicking of nature or nature-inspired innovation. So what you see on the screen here is one of our projects. This is a hydroponics project where students are actually developing hydroponic systems, which is the growing of plants in water, not soil. And these systems are actually constructed in a way that they do not require any soil, only just a medium nutrient solution and water to thrive. So we actually had a system in our classroom 2 years ago, but because of COVID, this was a remote project. And our students actually were able to develop hydroponic systems at home. So that's a few of the pictures that you see right here down in the bottom right-hand corner. These are a few projects that students developed at home utilizing resources that they had available to them. The next unit of instruction is engineering design. This is where we really get into thinking about engineering as a career. We start looking at the skills that you need to be an effective engineer. So we start looking at drafting, isometric drawings, orthographic drawings, creating parts lists. We transition to engineering drawing, which is computer-aided drawing or CAD. And we get into 3D modeling, rendering, and printing basic objects. So what this unit really teaches students is how to communicate their design solutions in a language that can be understood in the world of engineering and manufacturing, and then have them actually be able to develop that model themselves later. And that leads us into our next and final unit that kind of ties in with the previous unit. Students are going to create engineering drawings of a brand new product that they designed themselves, and they are going to develop it. So in this unit, students learn about elements and principles of design. They learn about ergonomics, design methods, and design evaluations and critiques. And then they end up modeling and producing a final product. Okay, so students will come up with the product that they want to design, and then they'll create the plans for it. And then using those plans, they will actually manufacture a custom product that they get to take home with them. Because of COVID last year, our students were not able to actually utilize the classroom resources in manufacturing their products. So what they actually did was they were able to 3D model their products from home, utilizing an online web application called Onshape. So some quotes that I like to point out every single year is every problem has a solution. You just have to be creative enough to find it. And failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. I think that this class definitely teaches students how to learn from their mistakes and analyze their mistakes and figure out how they can improve their solutions, and really embrace learning by doing. Right? I think it's important that our students recognize that they don't always have to come up with the right solution right away, and perfection takes time, and being able to have the grit to get through those low moments of something not working and overcoming those obstacles to be able to come up with something that is optimized and is a final solution at the end, I think is a very good lesson for our students to learn. So let's take a look at some of our equipment that we have in the room. We have our Glowforge, which is right there on the left. And then Zoratrax is our 3D printer on the right. Our Glowforge is the piece of equipment that it's a CO2 laser, so it cuts, scores, and engraves almost any material besides metal. It just etches on the surface of metal if it's anodized. But we can do some really awesome projects with this year, and it also allows our D cohort students to design things at home and print them from home directly from their web application, as long as I am present in the classroom. And then our Zoratrax is our 3D printer. These are just two hot technologies in our classroom, but we definitely have so many resources for our students to utilize this year that I'm super excited for them to be able to operate. Talking about our grading policy is what we will be discussing next. The main chunk of the grades that you'll see in Genesis is going to be checkpoints. And then the big thing that we're going to be focusing on in this class is design challenges and documentation. Documentation is what I focus on when I present students with design challenges. Their ability to document the development of their solution is what matters. It does not matter how effective their design is at the end, right? Everyone has different skills and abilities when it comes to actually producing a product. So the end result isn't necessarily what I'm focused on. I'm focused on the process and what the students learned throughout the process and what they were able to communicate during that process in their design documentation. So design documentation and design challenges are going to be the largest chunk of your students' grades. I will assign more homework this year, more than normal, when it comes to the daily assignments, just because of the nature of our learning environment this year, just to make sure we're checking with students to make sure that there's retention with some of the information that we're presenting on a day-to-day basis. We're definitely going to do some class activities. We're going to do debates. We're going to do discussions, mini design challenges, and those are going to be a good chunk of your students' grades as well. And I'm not a big tester, right? So I think that students can communicate what they learn in their design documentation. And as long as I see that there, I don't find a need to test. This course is about the application of knowledge. So there are not a lot of, there aren't any tests, and there aren't very many quizzes either, but I might have a pop-up quiz here and there based off of what I think our students need. All right, I want to point out that there are 5 extra credit points available each semester for students. That the 5 extra credit points can be earned by doing an entire list of things, including enrichment projects. So if a student wants to work on something that is utilizing the equipment that we have in class, they can absolutely do that. And those list of those assignments are in our course syllabus. All right, so all tests and project due dates will be posted to Google Classroom. There won't necessarily be tests. I guess I should have put quizzes there. Will be posted to Google Classroom, and Google Classroom, you should be checking Google Classroom for missed work and updates as well. If you are on your students' Google Classroom, everything is organized within topics. And every single day on the stream, I post an update of our objectives for that day and whatever resources they need for that day. And those posts are always dated. Also, you can find more information about our program, individual courses, college information, scholarships, past and future events on our new website. All right, so that's accessible through your students' Google Classroom page, also on the syllabus and in my introduction video. You can also stay connected with us at Made in Cinnaminson on Instagram. This is where I post a lot of our class projects and highlight some new technologies that we have in the classroom, so you can follow along with what we have going on social media as well. Thank you so much for coming to our virtual back to school night. I know this year is very different for everyone, and we're all going through our own personal struggles, trying to navigate this new world. So if you have any questions about the course or about how you can help your student be successful in this class, or just to chat, you can email me at cokerl@cinnaminson.com. It's been great talking to you guys tonight. I really look forward to this year and all the awesome projects that we have in store. Have a great night. Bye, guys.